In the theater of human interaction, not every smile carries warmth, and not every word of praise springs from genuine admiration. Some souls walk among us wearing carefully crafted masks, concealing envy beneath congratulations, and wrapping falsehood in the silk of friendship. They are the ones who celebrate your struggles while mourning your victories, who offer poison disguised as medicine, who seek to diminish your light not by shining brighter themselves, but by casting shadows across your path. The ancient Stoics understood this fundamental truth about human nature, that wisdom lies not in naive trust, but in clear-eyed observation. Marcus Aurelius warned us that we must be prepared for those who would deceive us, while Seneca taught that the wise person recognizes manipulation without becoming bitter. And Epictetus showed us that true freedom comes from understanding what lies within our control and what does not. Today we explore the subtle art of recognition, not to become cynical or suspicious, but to develop the quiet discernment that protects our peace and preserves our energy for what truly matters. The Stoic does not seek to change others or expose their hidden motives, but rather to see clearly, respond wisely, and maintain that unshakable inner fortress that no amount of external deception can breach. There is a particular type of person who finds your success more unbearable than their own failure. They possess a remarkable ability to appear supportive while harboring deep resentment for your achievements. When good fortune visits your door, their congratulations arrive with a subtle weight, as if each word of praise costs them something precious. Marcus Aurelius observed that some individuals are so consumed by comparison that they cannot celebrate another's joy without feeling diminished themselves. You will recognize them by the slight delay in their smile when you share good news, the way their enthusiasm feels rehearsed rather than spontaneous. They ask questions about your success that seem interested, but carry an undercurrent of seeking weakness or searching for ways to minimize your accomplishment. The Stoic mind notices these patterns without judgment, understanding that their envy reveals nothing about your worth and everything about their own inner turmoil. Such people are dangerous not because they pose any real threat to your actual achievements, but because they can drain your joy if you allow their energy to infect your own. The wise person shares selectively, protects their victories from those who would tarnish them, and remains unmoved by false celebration that masks true resentment. Watch carefully for those who offer criticism wrapped in concern, whose advice always seems to steer you away from your highest potential. These individuals have mastered the art of appearing helpful while actually undermining your confidence and progress. They speak with the authority of experience, claiming to protect you from disappointment or failure, but their words consistently discourage rather than empower. Seneca warned against those who would limit our aspirations under the guise of practicality, understanding that some people find comfort in keeping others small because it makes their own limitations feel less shameful. You will notice that their suggestions always involve taking fewer risks, aiming lower, or accepting less than what you truly desire. They speak of being realistic in a tone that suggests dreaming itself is somehow foolish or dangerous. The Stoic recognizes this pattern as a form of projection. These individuals cannot bear to see others attempt what they themselves lack the courage to pursue. Their false concern is actually a cage they're trying to build around your potential. The wise response is not anger or argument, but simply the quiet knowledge that your path is your own to choose, and that those who truly care for your well-being encourage your growth rather than limit it. There exists a breed of person who thrives on creating subtle chaos in the lives of others, stirring conflict while maintaining their own appearance of innocence. They possess an almost supernatural ability to plant seeds of doubt, spread whispers that grow into rumors, and create division where once there was harmony. These individuals rarely attack directly. Instead, they work through suggestion and implication, always maintaining plausible deniability when confronted. Epictetus taught us that we cannot control the actions of others, only our own responses, and this wisdom becomes crucial when dealing with such manipulative characters. You will identify them by their uncanny ability to always be present when drama unfolds, yet never directly responsible for its creation. They ask innocent questions that somehow lead to uncomfortable revelations, make offhand comments that spark arguments between others, and have a talent for being in the right place at the right time to witness and spread discord. The Stoic mind observes these patterns with detached clarity, neither joining in their games nor allowing their chaos to disturb inner peace. Such people are dangerous because they can turn allies into enemies and peaceful environments into battlegrounds. But they lose all power over those who refuse to participate in their drama. Some individuals have developed the skill of making everything about themselves, even when the conversation or situation clearly belongs to someone else. They are the ones who respond to your achievement by immediately sharing a similar or greater accomplishment of their own, who turn your moment of vulnerability into an opportunity to showcase their own struggles. These people cannot simply be present for others. Every interaction must somehow reflect back to their own experiences, needs, or opinions. Marcus Aurelius understood that such self-centeredness stems from a deep insecurity and desperate need for validation. But he also recognized that engaging with it only feeds the beast. You will recognize them by their inability to ask follow-up questions about your experiences, their tendency to interrupt your stories with their own, and their remarkable capacity to shift any conversation toward themselves within minutes. They offer sympathy, but it always comes with a comparison that somehow positions their suffering as greater or more significant. The Stoic approach is neither to enable this behavior nor to become frustrated by it, but simply to understand that such people are trapped in their own self-absorption and cannot offer the genuine connection you might seek from them. Beware of those who praise you excessively for small accomplishments while remaining notably silent about your significant achievements. This particular form of manipulation involves overwhelming you with attention and admiration for minor efforts, while strategically ignoring or minimizing your major victories. These individuals understand that excessive praise can be as undermining as criticism, creating a false sense of accomplishment that prevents you from pushing toward your true potential. Seneca wrote extensively about the danger of both flattery and false praise, recognizing that they can be more destructive than honest criticism because they corrupt our judgment and make us complacent. You will notice that their enthusiasm is inversely proportional to the actual importance of your achievement. They celebrate enthusiastically when you complete routine tasks, but offer only polite acknowledgement when you reach significant milestones. This pattern reveals their unconscious desire to keep you focused on small wins rather than substantial growth. The Stoic mind recognizes that genuine support celebrates real progress and challenges you to reach higher, not to be satisfied with mediocrity disguised as success. There are individuals who possess an almost preternatural ability to remember and catalog your every mistake, weakness, or moment of vulnerability, storing this information like weapons in an arsenal they may deploy when it suits their purposes. They listen with careful attention when you share your struggles, not out of empathy or desire to help, but to gather intelligence they can later use against you. These people have excellent memories for your failures and conveniently poor recollection of your successes or their own shortcomings. Epictetus taught that we must be careful about what we share and with whom, understanding that not every ear that listens does so with benevolent intent. You will recognize them by their ability to recall with perfect clarity something you said in confidence months or years ago, especially when that memory can be used to undermine your current position or argument. They bring up your past mistakes during unrelated conversations, always framed as helpful reminders or expressions of concern, but timed to cause maximum damage to your confidence or reputation. The wise person shares their vulnerabilities only with those who have proven their trustworthiness over time, understanding that some people collect our weaknesses like trophies. Watch for those who consistently offer help that somehow makes your situation more complicated rather than simpler. These individuals volunteer their assistance with great enthusiasm, but their help invariably comes with strings attached, hidden agendas, or consequences that weren't apparent initially. They create dependency rather than empowerment, ensuring that you need their continued involvement rather than developing your own capabilities. Marcus Aurelius observed that true friendship involves helping others become stronger and more self-reliant, not more dependent on our assistance. You will identify these people by the way their help always seems to require multiple follow-up actions from you, creates new problems that need solving, or comes with expectations that weren't discussed up front. They volunteer for tasks they're not qualified to handle, offer advice in areas where they lack expertise, and somehow always manage to make themselves indispensable to situations that should have simple solutions. The Stoic recognizes that genuine assistance empowers the recipient and expects nothing in return, while false help creates obligation and dependency that serves the helper more than the helped. Some people have mastered the art of competitive listening. They don't engage with what you're saying to understand or connect, but to find opportunities to demonstrate their own superior knowledge, experience, or insight. Every story you tell reminds them of a better story they can share. Every problem you face is one they've solved more elegantly, and every insight you offer is something they've known for years. These individuals are dangerous to your intellectual and emotional growth because they create an environment where genuine sharing and learning become impossible. Seneca wrote about the importance of surrounding ourselves with people who challenge us to think more deeply, not those who constantly need to prove they're thinking more deeply than us. You will recognize them by their habit of responding to your ideas with immediate one-upmanship, their tendency to correct minor details in your stories rather than engaging with the main point, and their inability to simply acknowledge your perspective without adding their own commentary that positions them as more knowledgeable. The Stoic mind understands that such people are more interested in winning conversations than having them, and adjusts expectations accordingly. There exists a category of person who specializes in offering unsolicited advice that always seems to benefit them more than you. They position themselves as helpful mentors or experienced guides, but their recommendations consistently steer you toward decisions that serve their interests, validate their choices, or confirm their worldview. These individuals have a remarkable ability to make their personal preferences sound like universal wisdom. Epictetus emphasized the importance of distinguishing between guidance that serves our highest good and advice that serves the advisor's ego or agenda. You will notice that their suggestions often involve you following a path remarkably similar to their own, adopting their methods and priorities regardless of whether they align with your values or circumstances. They speak with authority about fields where they have limited experience, make confident predictions about outcomes they cannot control, and become oddly insistent when you express hesitation about following their guidance. The wise person listens to counsel, but makes decisions based on their own judgment and understanding of their unique situation, recognizing that the best advisors ask questions that help you discover your own answers rather than providing ready-made solutions. Beware of those who create artificial urgency around decisions that actually require careful thought and consideration. These people thrive on pressure and crisis, always pushing for immediate action and presenting choices as if delay equals failure. They frame patience as indecision and careful consideration as weakness, creating environments where rushed judgments become normalized and mistakes become inevitable. Marcus Aurelius counseled that wisdom often requires time to develop, and that the best decisions emerge from calm reflection rather than reactive urgency. You will recognize these individuals by their impatience with your need to think things through, their tendency to present false deadlines that serve their timeline rather than the natural progression of events, and their ability to make you feel guilty or inadequate for wanting to consider your options carefully. They use phrases like "opportunity won't wait" and "you're overthinking this" to pressure you into premature commitment. The Stoic mind understands that genuine opportunities rarely require immediate sacrifice of considered judgment, and that those who respect your decision-making process are more trustworthy than those who try to circumvent it. Some individuals have developed an expertise in backhanded compliments that leave you feeling somehow diminished despite the ostensibly positive words. They have mastered the art of praise that contains an insult, recognition that includes a limitation, and celebration that feels like consolation. These comments are delivered with a smile and tone of approval, making it difficult to object without seeming ungrateful or oversensitive. Seneca warned against those who would poison our joy with their own limitations and projections, understanding that some people cannot offer pure praise because they cannot feel pure happiness for other success. You will identify them by compliments that always include qualifiers, praise that somehow references your limitations, and congratulations that feel like expressions of surprise that you achieved something worthwhile. They say things like, "That's pretty good for someone with your background," or "I'm impressed you pulled that off despite your usual approach." The Stoic recognizes these verbal patterns as revelations of the speaker's character rather than accurate assessments of their own worth, and neither internalizes the hidden criticism nor seeks validation from sources that consistently offer contaminated feedback. Watch carefully for those who show unusual interest in your plans and projects, asking detailed questions about your strategies, timelines, and resources, but never share equivalent information about their own endeavors. These people position themselves as supporters or collaborators while actually functioning as intelligence gatherers, collecting information they can use to their advantage or share with others who might benefit from knowing your intentions. They possess an almost journalistic curiosity about your business, but maintain strict privacy about their own. Epictetus taught that we should be judicious about what we reveal and to whom, understanding that information itself has value and power that can be misused by those with improper motivations. You will notice that these individuals remember details about your projects with remarkable accuracy, ask follow-up questions that probe deeper into your methods and resources, but deflect or provide vague answers when similar questions are directed toward them. They seem genuinely interested in your success, but never offer substantive help or resources that would actually contribute to it. The wise person shares information strategically, understanding that not every interested listener has interests that align with their own. There are individuals who specialize in emotional manipulation through guilt and obligation, making you feel responsible for their feelings, choices, and circumstances. They possess an almost supernatural ability to make their problems seem like consequences of your actions or lack of sufficient care for their well-being. These people create relationships based on debt rather than mutual respect, keeping careful accounting of what they've done for you while conveniently forgetting what you've contributed to their lives. Marcus Aurelius understood that we are responsible for our own actions and responses, not for managing the emotions and choices of others, no matter how closely connected we might be. You will recognize them by their ability to make you feel guilty for setting boundaries, their tendency to interpret your independence as rejection or abandonment, and their skill at making their emotional state your responsibility to fix. They use phrases like, "After everything I've done for you," and "I thought you cared about me," to manipulate your natural compassion and sense of fairness. The Stoic mind maintains clear boundaries between what belongs to them and what belongs to others, offering genuine care without accepting false responsibility for another person's emotional management. Some people have developed the ability to simultaneously agree with you while undermining your confidence in your own judgment. They express verbal support for your ideas and decisions, while their tone, body language, and follow-up questions communicate doubt and skepticism. This form of communication creates confusion and self-doubt because the explicit message contradicts the implicit one, leaving you uncertain about where you actually stand with them. Seneca wrote about the importance of clear, honest communication and the damage that mixed messages can inflict on relationships and decision-making. You will identify these individuals by the disconnect between their words and their energy, the way their yes somehow feels like no, and their ability to make you question decisions you felt confident about before speaking with them. They say supportive things but ask questions that highlight potential problems. Express confidence in your abilities while suggesting you might want to reconsider your approach. The wise person learns to trust their intuition about such mixed communications, understanding that authentic support feels genuinely encouraging rather than subtly undermining. Finally, beware of those who celebrate your failures with barely concealed satisfaction while offering sympathy that feels more like victory than comfort. These individuals have invested emotionally in your struggles and setbacks, finding validation for their own choices in your difficulties. They offer consolation that somehow makes you feel worse rather than better, sympathy that focuses more on the failure than on your resilience or learning. Epictetus taught that we cannot control others' reactions to our experiences, but we can choose whether to seek comfort from sources that actually provide it. You will recognize them by the slight lightness in their voice when discussing your problems, their tendency to dwell on details of your setbacks rather than possibilities for recovery, and their remarkable availability when you're struggling compared to their absence when you're thriving. They offer advice that keeps you focused on what went wrong rather than what you can do differently, and their comfort somehow leaves you feeling more hopeless rather than more hopeful. The Stoic mind seeks counsel and comfort from those whose presence actually provides strength and clarity, understanding that not everyone who offers sympathy genuinely wishes for your recovery and growth. The path of the Stoic is not one of suspicion or cynicism, but of clear-eyed wisdom that sees human nature as it truly is, not as we wish it were. In recognizing these patterns of envy and falsehood, we do not become harsh judges of character or withdraw from human connection, but rather develop the discernment that allows us to engage with others from a position of strength rather than vulnerability. Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus all understood that the world contains both genuine friends and hidden adversaries, both authentic supporters and skilled manipulators. The wise person learns to distinguish between them, not to become bitter or defensive, but to preserve their energy for relationships and endeavors that truly matter. When we can see clearly, we can respond appropriately, offering our trust to those who have earned it, our energy to those who reciprocate it, and our vulnerability only to those who have proven worthy of it. The Stoic walks through life with calm awareness, neither naive nor paranoid, but simply awake to the reality of human complexity. In this awareness lies true freedom, the freedom to choose our companions wisely, to guard our peace carefully, and to remain unshakable in our commitment to virtue, regardless of the hidden motivations that may surround us. Stand firm in this knowledge, maintain your inner fortress, and let the clarity of Stoic wisdom guide you safely through the labyrinth of human nature toward the life of meaning and tranquility that is your birthright.